All right. Welcome in another episode of Going for Two. We had a wild weekend of college football, wild weekend of NFL football, and Kalen blew his back out taking a dump today. So we got we called Malcolm to fill in for him, who basically has been pilfering his team for anybody and anybody
So,
that's a Pro Bowler.
You like Titans 2.0. So like you're a homer of the Eagles, like he's a homer of the Titans, but you just took all their good players.
Yes. With a better coach.
Yeah.
Wow. I really wish he was here now. If he get up off the floor, let me tell you, he would be getting very heated with you right now.
And Malcolm's joining us. Obviously, Eagles fan. Anybody that stays in the chats knows that Malcolm's always in the chat talking shit about the Eagles. Sorry, Leo. I tried.
Oh, we're at 4 minutes. We might be okay.
We're good. And we had Joe here last week, who was obviously a big Cowboys guy.
Boo.
I'm sure Joe will be in here in a sec. Kelly's joined us from Boomer Sooner out there in Northern Oklahoma. What's up, Kelly? Looks like you guys were able to hold on to that win at the end there. It was looking a little hairy, a little dicey, but I mean, Oklahoma does have better players than most of the other teams. It's definitely better than Central Florida. So it was nice to see that Gabriel could get a win against his old team. But lots going on. I mean, we're going to get it out of the way. Michigan State had the worst home loss in not Michigan history, but in their entire school's history.
What was the final score? I'm not being an asshole.
I can't tell you I remember exactly, but I'm going to say 49.
Last I saw was 35 or 38.
Yeah, I mean, between the 49-0 on the field and some questionable trivia, it was not the weekend to be a Michigan State fan, I'll tell you that. They were questionable all over the place. But at least we had no expectations, right? I mean, we're not Quinn Ewers out with a shoulder injury again.
Is Arch playing?
It's a good question. I mean, Ewers is going to be out for a few weeks, so I would have to assume, unless they want to redshirt the guy, that he would be coming into play. And I don't know a whole lot about the Texas depth chart to say that I would know who the other guy would be. So
did the other one transfer out? Because at one point they had 3 of the top quarterbacks in a row on their roster, like in the recruiting class rankings. They had Ayers, they had the other guy, I can't think of his name. Then they had Arch.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming if you're the other guy, when Arch signed, you jumped ship.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you knew your time was done.
You would think so. I mean, not very many people turn into Matt Castle and never have to play a college snap. Get drafted in.
I gotta need a lot of money for never taking a college snap.
Yeah, well, he had an 11-win season with the Patriots.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he had a couple decent seasons with the Chiefs. So, I mean, that guy, it worked out for him. So, this transfer portal thing wasn't a thing back then. I think that I have no problem with the transfer portal. We're not going to get into that because Chad's going to talk about it for 2 hours.
Hey, we don't have a time limit on this show.
Yeah.
I can go all night.
49ers playing tonight. People actually like that game, so I'd imagine we're going to drop off somewhere around kickoff. But I'm going to take back something that I said way earlier on, about 4, 5, 6 weeks ago about Alabama, because I think that they might have just been better than we thought, and they were trying to develop into a team. And when they fell down early to Tennessee, I was like,
remember I picked them for the playoff and you both laughed at me?
well, they're not going to make the playoff, but
come on.
They're gonna be a New Year's 6 team.
They make the playoff. Sweet.
Well, look at their way into the playoff. They have to beat Georgia.
Georgia hasn't impressed me either.
Well, that's not a very compelling case either.
Yeah, they both haven't played great.
No, yeah. Overall, they're gonna have to go through Georgia, and I think that Georgia still probably has a better all-around team. Georgia did lose a lot of guys to the NFL. It's tough when you're not getting challenged. I think that Alabama's definitely had more challenging games and more opportunity to grow as a team than Georgia has. But
so Kelly's saying how Williams has talked himself out of played himself out of the Heisman.
Yeah,
I would like to say Notre Dame put him at the Heisman because we laid the blueprint of how to beat Caleb Williams, and USC just isn't that good outside of him.
I think that he played himself out of the first round, right?
He might have.
I mean, and we've talked about this a lot. Like, he's going to be in the NFL, but I wouldn't make him the first overall pick.
I definitely would have made him the first because Notre Dame is my favorite team. We do not have first round talent on that defensive line,
Yeah,
and we made him look very pedestrian. Do you know who's really good in the NFL? Defensive linemen, all of them.
Yes.
And if my defensive line, none of them are going to go in the top 2 rounds, I can tell you right now, you're going to play better defensive linemen
right.
and more athletic linebackers.
It fits Denver then.
Yeah, yes, no, that's a perfect one for Denver, and I'm sure Denver will trade their next 2 first-round picks to go back into the first round and get this guy. He's not like
He's not a bad quarterback.
maybe people are just doing him like a disservice by saying that he's the next generational guy and he's like a once in a lifetime kind of quarterback. Like he's not. Like he's just not. And it's getting exposed this year because he doesn't have like the tremendous amount of talent around him. Like last year he had Jordan Addison. Well, Jordan Addison might be the number 1 on a lot of teams, but he happened to get drafted to a team that has Justin Jefferson. So he's not going to be the number 1 there ever. And that's fine. And you look down at some of the other guys that they've lost. Okay, cool. If you're that guy, if you're like the generational guy, you should be able to elevate everyone around you. It shouldn't be the other way around that you need everyone to do it.
Trevor Lawrence and that top receivers. When is that close?
Well,
as a freshman, he did.
Yeah, as I said, that's a pretty good. Like,
True.
T. Higgins was pretty good
as a freshman, yeah. And then he had Travis Etienne. But outside of him, like he wasn't loaded with talent. The offense, they had a great defense.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and Shipley, but yeah,
like Andrew Luck didn't have talent around the Stanford.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I forget who they were talking about yesterday, or maybe it was Saturday. But it was J.J. McCarthy. They compared J.J. McCarthy to Andrew Luck on the podcast, and I was like, "Come on, man! Like this guy stinks." Like and you're a Michigan fan, right?
I'm getting there.
Okay, it's gross, but
why? How can you be getting to be a Michigan fan?
Well, I started as an LSU fan.
How do you just jump ship to Why did you choose Michigan of all teams?
Well, it's close to home. I can actually watch their games.
I don't know, man.
They went to the Indiana game a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's still Michigan. They stink.
Yeah. But overall, like, how could anybody tell us that they think that J.J. McCarthy is Andrew Luck? I don't see. There's no comparison in body type. There's no comparison in style of play.
What did Andrew Luck do wrong?
I know. Like, literally the only thing, like, was Harbaugh coached Andrew Luck, right? Like, that's the only comparison. And I think David Shaw finished his career there. So,
like, who did Andrew Luck really upset that that's what they dropped him down to? Did Jim Irsay put that out?
I think Jim Irsay likes him.
I don't know, man. Jim Irsay's a weird dude.
I think the Colts fans probably hate him, but overall.
They booed him with a broken neck.
Yeah, I mean, Colts fans.
That's a Philly move.
Colts fans have bigger.
He's Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You guys also think Rocky's real, so.
Colts fans have bigger things to worry about, and they were robbed pretty bad this week against the Browns, and the refs did no favors to them whatsoever. If there was ever a fixed NFL game outside of that Bills and Giants one maybe a week ago,
yeah,
this was it, man. Like it was bad, and not that I really cared. I'm not an advocate for the Colts. Nor do I think that the Browns are legitimate threats to the Steelers in the division.
That defense, though.
Yeah, the defense and the refs will definitely get you a championship. They don't have a quarterback. They paid $250 million to a quarterback that every time he gets hit, he has a sore shoulder. Now, there's different theories out there on why his shoulder's so sore all the time because he's not allowed to go to certain establishments anymore. So
he didn't work those
yeah. So I mean, the rotator cuff's getting a little. I don't know. I mean, just saying like that. That seems like a possibility to me. But overall, I think that it's despicable the way that the refs did them dirty like that. If it was actually an important game and important teams, more people would have saw it. Like you're acting surprised that you didn't even see it. So that's how little coverage it actually got. But,
so this is my whole thing, man. Like, and I might just open up all their fucking basket right now. How much is gambling impacting the NFL?
Huge.
Yeah.
Because Bijan Robinson's injury fucked over a lot of people.
Yep.
It wasn't disclosed. And that's not playing like a mind game with the team you're playing. Yeah. When billions of dollars are being spent every single weekend, part of it's mine on the very, very low spectrum of that $1 billion.
Yeah.
But when you're not disclosing injuries and stuff like that, yeah, it might like the Bucks were the favorite to win, so it didn't really affect the spread. When you're picking player props,
Yeah.
one of them was like, I think his over for carries was like 12 and a half. A lot of people are probably going to take that over.
Yeah.
I thought he was putting up Paul Pierce and just going to use the washroom.
Just had some tough sushi. Yeah, I mean, like you're right, Jay, and it's affecting the way that all that stuff goes down, and you know, because of like sports gambling, we just assume that we're all experts on how these things are made and how the outcomes are going to come. I got to be honest. Last night, I did not expect the Dolphins to lose by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, they also had penalties to 0.
I'm not saying I didn't expect the Eagles to win. I'm just saying to completely wipe out a run game.
Yep.
And,
That was the best NFL at this point.
Yeah, and
Game of the year.
it said all that they needed to say about the secondary. I mean, Terrell Edmonds, he couldn't cut it in the Steelers secondary. I'm not sure why Philly thought he was going to cut it in their secondary. So
They addressed that though.
yeah, they did.
They addressed that real quick.
If Kalen was here, he'd be able to break down the trade for us a little closer. But Kalen's second favorite player, his first favorite player was already traded to the Eagles. Kalen's second favorite player was also traded to the Eagles for, I think, a bag of donuts and Terrell Edmonds.
Yeah.
Right? Like
2 bags of donuts.
yeah, yeah, fair. I mean, how you get away with trading, like I think it was 2 6th-round picks. Is that what it was?
That was a 6 or 7, but yeah, whatever it was.
6 and a 7.
You gave up 2 guys who might make your special teams roster.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And Charlotte, but 2 you didn't love.
No, we didn't need him.
yeah. So I don't really know what the theory of what's going. Oh boy, Kalen, sorry, buddy.
5th of the 6th.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I love that Kalen's in the group chat right now because
Hey,
that's
how's your back doing? Big dumps?
so. I will say Kalen's back was fine until the trade happened.
Yeah.
And then the trade happened, and then he sent us a picture of himself lying on the floor. So
I think he's just going through some things.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
What if Derrick Henry gets sold this week?
Oh,
To the Eagles?
To anybody.
Hey, I'll take him on the committee.
yeah. Yeah. The Eagles only would draft for a Georgia or trade for a Georgia player. I'm not sure they would go for Alabama, but maybe. I mean, it does seem like you guys have like a pretty good in with those guys. So, but I mean, you brought up Derrick Henry. They said they're not going to trade him. Overall, let's just assume that that's bullshit and say where is like a legitimate spot that Derrick Henry fits. And I mean, the Eagles could be it.
Can I give you the real answer?
I hope
Anywhere.
so. Okay.
If you're a playoff team, I make a move with Derrick Henry. It's that simple. When you get into cold weather, you get into games that matter, you get into some shit weather, and if you can just run the ball and pound up the fucking middle with a guy like Derrick, why wouldn't you? If you're right there, if you're a cusp team, look at the NFC.
Yep.
There's the Eagles and there's the 49ers.
Yes,
That's it.
correct.
I'm going to use Dallas as my wild card. I know you hate them.
You can't stand them. And they better not get.
Well, you're hearing me out though, right?
Yeah.
You know you have to go into Philly. That's an outdoor stadium.
Yes.
It is ice cold and it sucks.
Yes.
San Francisco in the winter, that is like Vancouver here.
Yes.
You're playing a muck, you're playing a mud. If I have to win that game, how am I going to do it?
Run game.
Kalen has a theory.
I'm just going to. Wow. Give me a second to finish, man. I'm in the NFC, like I'm going down that road. A team like the Lions, so it's the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think
Like
Derrick Henry would be.
in a Dan Campbell offense,
Oh my God, that would be scary.
it's any team in the NFC because like, they're going to trim the AFC. Like we already know that.
Yes.
It's going to be an NFC team. If I'm an NFC playoff team, knowing I might have to go to Philly and I might have to go to San Francisco, Derrick Henry's on my board.
Yeah.
And to me, if I'm picking at the end of the first round anyways, fuck it.
So you're saying you'd give a first round pick for
A late first.
Okay.
If I'm a top team, I'm picking between 26 and 32. And realistically, I'm taking the best player available at that spot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Do I believe Derrick Henry is better than the best player available at 26?
Yes.
100% I do. And if it can take me to the next level, why would I not do it?
Right. Like, where does that count? I mean, I guess if you have to be a contender, so right now we would assume that you'd be in the top or the bottom 14 of the draft. So you probably, I guess, I mean, if you're a wild card team and this pushes you over, like maybe that is something you. So I was chirping Cleveland a second ago, but you go get a guy like Derrick Henry and put him in Cleveland, and he fits in exactly what Nick Chubb was doing. And
Yeah.
I mean,
He could do better than Nick Chubb, in my opinion.
But I don't think you have the one there because you have Nick Chubb signed.
Yes.
That's the difference.
I mean, 1-2 punch. Like Nick Chubb, like, what if he doesn't play again? And I mean, I want him to play again as much as like I don't like Cleveland. You don't want someone's career to end on something like that. But if you're the Cleveland GM, and I mean they're known to do dumb shit, but like why wouldn't you want Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry in your backfield?
Like
You can play them every other
Chiefs.
game.
Can't the Chiefs. I don't see that one.
No.
I would say the Chiefs is going to be tough because I mean, I think that they like Pacheco. Obviously, Derrick Henry's an upgrade to Pacheco, but I don't think that they play the same game. And the way that Mahomes dinks and dunks and does his thing, I
don't think you have a happy Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I agree.
No.
Yeah, like
you can't use him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you got to give him the ball 20 times.
Yes.
You know, like another team, and like a team that just got slapped this week by the Steelers, which first time the Steelers have won a regular season game in Los Angeles in their history, which is amazing. Like to say that like they play there every 4 years and they've been in the league since the 30s. Like how have they never won a game there? But anyway, I think the Rams would be a fit. Sean McVay could scheme that up. It's a little bit more finesse than Derrick Henry would be used to, but
I don't think it'll fit because the way they ruined Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
They got some banged up running back. Yeah, I mean, they're one of those.
I don't think there's a bad spot if you're the team receiving Derrick Henry.
Correct.
Like you will scheme him and make it work.
They're a fringe team that can make it happen.
I think for me, it's like if I'm giving up a first round pick, I have to be a division winner.
Right.
Like I have to know that I'm picking that bottom 8 teams in the draft.
Yeah.
I can't be a fringe wild card team.
So what Kalen's saying might change, like whether this becomes a first round pick or a mid round pick. I don't think you give up a first round pick.
No, I just saw that out.
Because the guy's in a pending free agent. I just don't see it happening
unless he signs an extension on trade.
But it also changes the game for Tennessee because I mean they're going nowhere in a hurry. Mm-hmm. Whether Tannehill comes back this year or they turn it over to Willis or they give Levis a chance. They're probably, I think for a rental player, you're probably getting a 3rd round pick. Yeah. And a 3rd round pick from a bad team. So it might even turn into like a compensatory pick, which you don't even know if you have it. Or from a good team, so it's going to be a bad 3rd round pick. So you're looking at like a late 100 or late 90s pick, probably.
Cool. I don't know, man. I still feel like the fact, like, if I'm a team in like sending second, I go a late second. If I think it can take me to a Super Bowl, I'm a Bucs fan. We bought a Super Bowl. I don't care what it says. I'm fine with it. The Rams, they bought a Super Bowl.
Yes, they did.
Go buy your Super Bowl. That's that simple. Like, yeah, the Eagles, you guys did something that no one's done in a long time.
We're building.
You built it from within, and you really just went to Georgia and handpicked your team.
Yes.
Like you guys built it. That doesn't happen very often anymore to get to that level.
Chiefs
drafted.
Yeah.
You guys drafted. They paid their guys. They even traded away guys that they couldn't afford anymore.
Yeah. And it was like so.
But Andy Reid is a mastermind. One of the best coaches in the league.
Had a lot of success in Philadelphia as long as it wasn't a playoff game.
Yes.
Yeah, it's my Bucks.
All right, so Kalen's saying that the Titans are going to win the offseason next year because they have $99 million of cap space.
They got one player, Kalen. Relax. They got AJ Brown. Take a deep breath. He's saying that you guys bought your chances because you got AJ Brown. Now, the Titans 2.0.
They found a team dumb enough to give him up for like a 1st round pick and a guy that they could pair complimentary with Devon, like with Smith, and I mean it makes sense. Yep. It makes sense everything that they're doing there. I'm sure that if the Titans had the ability to go back in time, then they probably wouldn't make that trade, and they would have just given him like what was he even looking for?
22 is just over 20.
Yeah, so like
I'm sure our insider will tell us in a second. He's so heated right now.
Yeah.
Even Julio Jones looked good. he only got a few catches.
He's listing like every player the Eagles have ever bought.
So also like the Julio Jones thing is even funnier because Kalen wanted Julio Jones in Tennessee. Obviously, he went there. Clearly, didn't work out. Yeah. Hamstring this, hamstring that, and then obviously Philly finds a way, and it's one game. They find a way to get him on the field, and he stays healthy. Yeah. And like he wasn't running great, but overall, yeah, he's going to be a reliable guy. And if you need somebody to come in for like a quick slant
Yes.
and to get a touchdown, Julio Jones
That's
is
what
your
he did
guy.
in Tampa.
He'll be the Jerome Bettis of receivers.
Yeah.
He might eat up a whole bunch of touchdowns. So I think that it was a smart move. I think that the Eagles are showing that there is no complacency. You just beat what people were perceiving the best offense. You shut them down, and you weren't comfortable with your defense, so you went out and found a guy that is a old All Pro, and you put him around some guys that are going to lift his level. Obviously, he's playing like shit in Tennessee. Tennessee's shit. Like what? What? You have shitty talent around you. Why are you going? We talked about next level in the show earlier. How are you getting yourself to the next level if you're just surrounded by a bunch of donkeys? Put yourself in a good situation, a good locker room, and it's going to make sense.
We see the quarterbacks all the time. If you're not surrounded by talent, I don't care how good you are, you might only be mediocre.
The way I see it is with Derrick Henry, though, we'll go back to that quickly. If he goes to Dallas, Dak Prescott's drama is gone because
Yeah.
the pressure won't be on Dak Prescott anymore.
No. When Dak was the best, when he had Zeke, prime Zeke, and he had Tony Pollard as the accessory.
Okay.
That's when Dak was a Pro Bowl quarterback. He was going to save the Cowboys. He was the next franchise guy. And now that it's not easy to be a franchise quarterback. I don't care where you are,
Right.
especially in Dallas.
Correct.
Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach. Like those are Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Tony Romo, I fucking hate that dude.
He played 18 years. I mean,
like once again, like constant Pro Bowl quarterback. But in Dallas, like, well, you weren't Troy Aikman, you weren't Roger Staubach.
Exactly.
And Jordan Love's, I think, is going to find this out in Green Bay over time if they re-sign him. You had Brett Favre, and then you had Aaron Rodgers. You had 30 years of fucking quarterback play.
yeah.
Like, now Green Bay, you're going to find out how the rest of the world works.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we can't all just get our quarterback in the first round and just like make it happen like that. I think, and Terry Bradshaw said it perfectly. Kenny Pickett is exactly the quarterback the Steelers need. He's not going to lose you the game because he doesn't turn the ball over. He's not going to win you the game because it's not the kind of guy that he is at this point in his development. All you need to do is when the defense gets you the fucking ball,
score that.
Yeah, boot down, done. And that's what they're able to do. And based on your Jordan Love comment, I think that this is Jordan Love's last season as a Packer.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they go into the draft or they go into like a veteran pool and try and pull somebody out.
That team's built to win now, unfortunately, and I just don't think he's the guy. They need a receiver. That defense is ready to go.
Yeah.
They got some good young receivers, but yeah, if they brought in like a veteran receiver to kind of lead the group and a quarterback that isn't going to make mistakes, you know, like if Matt Stafford's not on the block, but if Matt Stafford went to Green Bay, like I think they'd be fine. Jared Goff in Green Bay, I think they'd be fine.
Yes.
Jared Goff has saved his fucking career. Can we just talk about that for
100%. 100%.
Yeah, they got a good offense. I mean, he's confident.
They got beat down this weekend, but it happens. Every good team, it happens once a year.
Well, Lamar Jackson looked amazing.
Yeah.
Like I think it was last week they said like, are the Lions actually for gave them love, and then this week they got bent over. But I still think that they're going to win the North.
No, easy. It's theirs.
Let me tell you a scenario that I just like. It just popped in my head, and I don't know why I'm seeing the future. The Bears move on from Justin Fields. The Packers decide to move on from Jordan Love, and the Packers make Justin Fields work. How bad is that going to look on the Bears fans? Like, how are they going to feel about that? I was in the stadium this year when they blew that lead to Denver, and fans were throwing their jerseys in the garbage. Wow. Like, it was like the fan base is already on edge there, but imagine the team that has basically knocked them out of contention for the last 20 years takes their guy and turns him into their guy.
So the part that blows my mind is about this Justin Fields and like the Jordan Love thing. Justin Fields, like he's been like bad talent everywhere.
Yes.
Like zero help.
Yeah.
No offensive line, no weapons outside. You can't like they had a decent run game for how bad their offensive line was. Mediocre defense at best. Never put in a chance to succeed. Jordan Love has all the opportunity to succeed. But I also don't know if it's time to give up on Jordan. He hasn't played absolutely horrible.
No.
He hasn't been great. But like the odds of getting Aaron Rodgers 2.0 to come off the bench and have a great first time, that doesn't happen.
No.
The last guy that did that was fucking Steve Young, replacing a legend.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it doesn't happen.
Right, and it's not just going to start happening. And I guess that's where like the Packers franchise is. Like, do you go back into the draft and see how Love gets you and try and develop somebody, or do you try and get like a veteran quarterback that's out there? And I mean, I can't even think of somebody that's coming to mind that I think should be a starter for somebody that isn't, or somebody that's pending that's going to go on a free agent. But you're not going to find Brock Purdy.
No.
No, he's an anomaly.
Yeah, and outside of that, I mean,
Ooh. Back up before Dallas, the Rush.
okay, so yeah, I mean, like a guy like that, it makes sense, and if he can distribute the ball, that's really all you need to be able to do, right? Is you need to be able to distribute the ball. So whether it's him, I guess Gardner Minshew is probably going to be looking for a job next year,
Right.
and overall, I think that this will be a rebuilding year for the Packers. They probably got a couple of these coming up. It is unfortunate because they do have a couple guys that are
Do you want to hear your top quarterbacks for free agent next year?
okay.
Kirk Cousins,
Okay,
Yep.
Tannehill.
well,
The third is Jacoby Brissett. Like, that's your drop off.
is Jacoby Brissett even on a roster right now?
He is. I heard it was in there. I want to say, I don't know.
Isn't he in Arizona?
Washington.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
But like, those are your quarterbacks.
that's ugly. Tyrod, Mariota, Jameis.
Tyrod looks better than
Baker be your other one. Like, so to me, like, if I'm Green Bay, like, what are you giving up? Like, you can't, like, there's no, the only veteran that's even worth a call is Kirk Cousins if you're going to give up on Jordan Love. And I don't think that's worth calling.
Kirk Cousins doesn't fit into what like LaFleur wants to do, right? Like they need somebody that has a little bit of athleticism to move around the pocket and move the pocket around, and you have to be a threat to go this way if you're doing 50 jet sweeps the other
Yeah.
way. And
Well,
like Cousins isn't going to be
what
that.
happens if Russell gets dropped off this year?
Oof,
No one
Russell.
touches that guy.
Well, someone's going to pick him
Someone
up.
has to.
Someone's going to
He's so bad at football.
Yeah, but he's going to convince somebody.
He has to. His
Like,
agent
yeah.
is strong.
Yeah.
Because this is his last year in Denver.
Yeah, I know it is.
Imagine
Drake Maytime, baby.
Just imagine him in Green Bay and he finds a way.
I mean, I don't know if he seems like the kind of guy that like would walk away from football if he didn't get the offer that he wanted from the team that he wanted. Yeah, like he did handpick Denver,
It's true.
and Seattle did obviously win that trade at the end of the day. But would Russell Wilson sign up to play on Lambeau Field in the cold? I don't know. I mean,
No, good.
I don't know the man, but he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that wants to see his breath in January. Yeah, I could see.
I just don't think Sears going to hang out in Wisconsin.
That, yeah. I mean, nice
Like,
place.
Denver's is gorgeous. You got mountains everywhere. You go play the Rockies.
It's-
There's nothing in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, like, and we talk about different spectrums of weather. I mean, talk about Arizona and what they're going to do. I mean, is Kyler Murray going to be on the move?
If
That's a tough one.
his upside is still so high.
Yes.
I don't see it working out in Arizona.
That was like that was his advocate. It was like Cliff. Cliff's long gone.
I think that they're going to try and deal him, whether they can get what they want from him. And he was your first overall pick, so it's kind of hard to give up on him for like.
Do they go and take Caleb Williams? That'd be phenomenal if they did.
Just like they're basically trading for a bigger version of
Kyler Murray.
Yeah. And the Kyler Murray experience has not worked out, but you put that guy, and I'm sure the Mac Jones lovers out there are gonna hate this, but you give that guy to New England, I think Belichick will find a way.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I just have an issue with quarterbacks being 5'9", and I'm not trying to.
Yeah. This is not 5'9" hatred. You're also 5'9".
I'm 5'9" too. Like, I'm not that tall.
But you don't play in the NFL.
I know, and do you know what happens with 5'9" guys who want to play quarterback in the NFL? They get moved to DB in our generation. Now we're too trying to play DB. 5'9" guys don't last in the NFL. I'm sorry.
It's true.
I don't care how good your arm talent is and how quick you can move. You're a 5'9" quarterback. You can't see over your offensive line. You're not fast enough to play out on the outside.
His IQ's not even that good.
Guess where Kalen thinks Kyler Murray's going?
Tennessee, of course.
Tennessee. But, hey, great. Dude, I I would love to see that picture of him under center and Derrick Henry behind.
I feel like the team that was the Undertaker behind the wrestler screaming down so.
I think
That's
that
all
would,
I'm picturing right now.
I think that would be an amazing picture.
Oh, what with Jameis Winston though?
It's crazy. He sucks.
No, he's gonna get signed again.
Don't get me started, Jameis.
Well, he's gonna get signed
He
again.
has to.
Yeah.
Some of these guys hang around the
Yeah,
league.
he's
for a long
allegedly a
time.
good guy too.
Well,
Would you want to do it with your daughter? I think so.
I think it'd be inappropriate. They're quite young.
Yeah. Yeah, would you let him in your grocery store? No, you want. He's still your crown legs.
Jeez.
I do not like Jameis Winston.
Allegedly.
No, I don't. Not allegedly. I do not like him.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a Bucks fan. Oh, actually, I do not like this man. I didn't like him coming out of college.
Wow.
The
We-
hatred is strong.
Okay.
Like, Mariota hasn't panned out either, and I was like, I'd take Mariota over Winston any day of the week.
No. No.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. What?
Go talk to a couple girls at Florida State about Jameis Winston and see what they say about him.
Oh boy, here we go.
Allegations, right?
Yeah.
Allegedly, he's a good guy.
Jeez.
Jameis never watches our show.
Yeah, absolutely buried. All right, what are some other things that are sticking at you? Because I want to talk about the college football playoff a little bit, and then we'll go back to the NFL because we got a few minutes here. Where do you guys see the Pac-12 falling? Because at one point in time, we talked about how they were just going to cannibalize each other. I don't think so though, because like USC's dead, they're gone. Utah isn't a real threat without Cam Rising, which I heard that they're going to redshirt him this year, and he's going to play 7th year next year, which is hilarious.
Van Wilder is coming back. I
Yeah.
thought he was like 28 as it was.
I think he is. Yeah, he's going to be a 30-year-old senior by the time everything's all said and done. But it does come down to the Washington-Oregon thing, and this also kind of goes. So the conversation we had last week was, can Texas still overtake Oklahoma because they're likely to meet in the Big 12 championship? If Texas wins that game, the Texas resume probably looks better than the Oklahoma resume, even though they both have one loss and one win, one loss against each other. I think the Oregon and Washington thing is going to ring true as well. Those two teams are probably going to play each other. Penix obviously beat them and did not look great this past week, but you're due for a letdown after that. They only had 15 points, but do you see Oregon with still like a pretty clear path there? No,
Because there's no respect for the Pac-12.
even this year.
Even this year. We're all high on it.
Yep.
If USC did what they were supposed to do, this is a different conversation.
Mhm.
Now Oregon lost to Washington already once. So unless Washington loses 2 games, I don't care if Oregon beats them in the Pac-12 championship. It doesn't matter anymore. Because kind of the same way with Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah.
Either Oklahoma gets things that run the table. The only way Texas they have to like blow Oklahoma out.
Right.
And I feel the same way that if Oregon runs the table, they meet in the championship. Or if Washington loses 2 games, that's the only way it can happen. If they go if undefeated Washington plays a 1-loss Oregon in the Pac-12, but it's a close game, I don't see either of those 2 teams getting in.
All right. Well, let me give you a scenario that might. This could actually happen. So, Ohio State has beat Penn State. Penn State goes and beats Michigan.
Yep.
And then Michigan beats Ohio State.
Yep.
So they're all 1-loss teams.
Yep.
Only one of those teams can play in the Big Ten championship because of the stupid structure of the divisions, and the other one has to play against some like slapdick team on the west side. So, in that scenario, are you still letting 2 Big Ten teams in?
I would. I don't think the Pac-12 is that good. I have hatred towards the Pac-12, maybe. I don't know. I put the Pac-12 and the Big 12 in the same situation. They become so irrelevant that unless you run the table and you go through your conference, you can't compete with the Big 10 and the SEC.
I think Charlie's dropped off. I was just
She's going to fucking light me up.
Yeah, I was just checking.
She got a bad connection. Yeah, I think unless you run the table, you can't compare with those 2 conferences. ACC, same thing. Like, there's no one for the ACC getting in. Like, right now in North Carolina,
Florida State's going to do that.
You think so? They still undefeated?
Yeah.
So, yeah, them and North Carolina, they're going to play each other. The loser's out. We'll say right away.
North Carolina blew their chance there. They lost to Virginia. So even if they were to win the ACC, I don't see any.
Yeah, they beat what's it called? They beat Florida State. They're not going to get in there. It's the same situation. I think the SEC and the Big Ten are so powerful, and I don't like it. That's why I want the 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
For this exact reason, where these teams actually have a chance to get in. Fair. Like a one-loss Oregon team, or a two-loss, or like a one-loss Washington team, they should have the right to play for a championship. But I think if Oregon just squeaks over in Washington, neither of them get in. Same with Texas, Oklahoma.
But if Washington runs the table,
they're in.
Yeah, and that makes sense. So you would put a one-loss Big Ten team in before a one-loss Pac-12 champion / potential Big 12 champion.
Yep.
All right, that's fair enough.
I feel the same way with the SEC.
It comes down to like the strength of schedule and like all the different options. But if you're those three Big Ten teams and you play each other and they kind of round robin through each other and each get one, it's kind of hard to penalize any of them. I mean, everyone says Michigan's the most complete team in the Big Ten. I mean, they've beaten Ohio State 2 years in a row. I'm not sure if any of us were alive last time they did it 3 times in a row. So something's got to happen somewhere. James Franklin's been the coach at Penn State for 12 years, and he hasn't beaten the top 10 team. That shoe's going to have to drop at some point in time too. I don't think that it was his fault. I think that the quarterback just didn't play well. Overall, I'm glad that this is our last year with 4. I think that like next year it's going to be interesting to have 12, and it's going to be interesting to see where fan bases go because the quarterfinals of the college playoff and wildcard weekend are going to run parallel, and they're going to be on at the same time.
Perfect.
I mean, it's great for us to watch it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we got lots of TVs around here, so we're not going to miss a snap. But it'll be interesting to see if college football can go head to head with the NFL. Ratings wise, they haven't had a game where it can.
Yeah.
But depending on what part of like the U.S. you're in, I guess that's it's all subjective.
Okay, I'm just looking at the top 25 now.
Yeah.
We got Georgia 1, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Well, I think whoever runs table there gets in.
Yeah.
They have to run the table to get in. I didn't realize Florida State was undefeated, so yeah, they're going to get in.
As long as they keep that pace, right?
This is the game that's going to change everything. Michigan, Ohio State, because if Michigan wins, I don't think Ohio State will stay in.
Yeah.
And like that's what's going to open the door. But I think a one-loss Ohio State to Michigan, if it's a good game, gets in over a one-loss Washington or a one-loss Oklahoma. And I can't see then Texas leapfrogging. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, well, and so when these things are picked, they're picked based on what the committee thinks is going to ultimately get the highest rating. Right. So, like, if they have, and obviously the Oklahoma fan base is big too, but if they have the opportunity to put Texas versus Michigan, they're going to do it.
100%.
And if they have the opportunity to put Georgia versus Florida State, they absolutely.
If I'm putting a game on TV, these teams right here, Washington's out.
Yeah, well, and their quarterback can be must-see TV, but outside of Seattle, who knows that?
Yeah. Like if you get Oklahoma, Texas, or Alabama in a bowl game or a playoff game, you're going to do it. You're going to take full advantage of that.
Yeah. And for a team like Washington or Oregon, who would ultimately, if they don't make the playoffs, one of those teams is going to be represented. Yeah. And, well, I guess the Rose Bowl is actually part of the
playoff this year.
Yeah, so I guess
that's interesting.
That sucks for them. Any standouts from the NFL weekend? We got about 5 minutes left before we wrap off here. Or if you want to have any thoughts about Monday Night Football.
Well, I just feel bad for the Vikings.
Can I tell you guys? I think that I'm going to quit fantasy football, and it's not because I actually have some good teams, and I was talking to the fam at dinner today just to kind of clarify. I hate when people ask me for fantasy football advice. It's driving me nuts. So to the point of I just want to quit all my leagues and just say I hate fantasy football. I want a T-shirt that says it. If I'm not in your league, this is a blanket statement. Yeah. I don't give a fuck. I don't know who to start. I don't know who to start. I don't know who your scoring's like. I don't know who you're playing against. I don't know who's on your bench. So I don't know who to start.
I get that. Like, I had a guy come in and worked and he's like, "Hey, you owe me an apology." I was like, "For what?" And he was like, "You told me to start." I forget who it was. And I was like, "Yeah, I started them too." Like, guess what? Sorry, didn't work out for you. My team still wins. My team's good. I don't know if your team sucks.
Yeah, right. You can't take a flyer if your team sucks.
It's true.
Yeah. Don't start. I don't know who did shitty. Like, don't start Calvin Ridley
I
this
did.
week
He's on.
if you have 3 other better receivers.
Yeah. Like, Calvin really starts on my team because I don't have a lot of good receivers. I have really good running backs. That's why my team wins.
Yeah. But yeah, so I have some good teams, and I have 3 of them, and it has taken all the fun out of it for me to try and like help other people build their rosters. And I'm sick of it. I'm not interested anymore. So I believe that at the end of this year will be my last year of fantasy football.
I've decided that when I stop making money on fantasy football, I'm playing one league only now.
Yeah.
When that money, like, if I'm not playing for free or I don't win money, I won't play the following year. That'd be the end of it for me.
Yeah.
I have
Fantasy
more-
football.
Love fantasy.
I'm more of like, I want to go on, like, I want to go get, like, I can win more in one weekend than I win in a whole year playing fantasy football.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That makes it a lot more interesting. Like, you can do props. And, like, you can do like daily fantasy if you wanted to.
True.
Yeah. It's tough to walk away from some leagues because you've been in it a long time. But you said you have 6?
6.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I have one now. I can't do that.
6. Yeah.
And you manage all 6 of them?
Have to.
Damn.
Gotta make money, right?
You're like,
Yeah.
you're playing against your own players at half the time.
You have to though. It's just what you do, right? It's like I look at the score and it's like, well, this person should do well in this one, and then yeah, I'm cheering the Eagles game and I have Tyreek Hill, but they're playing against me. It is what it is. You got to make money still.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm on one league. I guess that's the way I look at it too.
we do what we do. NFL season continues to plug along. College season continues to plug along.
1 for 2 continues to plug along.
We're like just like the little engine that could.
Yeah, we're just
Episode 160 today.
160. That's a big one.
yeah, it was.
You're part of a big one.
Cheers, man.
Yeah,
We had no idea what we were doing when we first started this thing.
yeah, and
Still
I mean, in full disclosure, we still don't.
Think about it. Liam almost quit like episode 4.
Yeah,
Like, he wanted us to like really go smash our faces off.
Yeah.
yeah.
When we said we were texting at midnight, like, that's not a lie. We were just texting like, "Hey, clip done, clip done, clip done."
How do we get this thing on the ground? How do we get this thing on the ground? Yeah, yeah.
The fact that he made it 160 episodes is
Hey, it's a
that means way more than what we did.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna just keep circling the wagon. 200 insights now. Steelers are 4-2. Feeling pretty good about
Bucks
that.
are at 500.
Yeah.
Bucks is right on
6-1. Fly, you
6.
fly.
So, unfortunately, your prediction at the beginning of the season is probably not going to come to fruition, which was all 4 of our teams were going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Titans are not making the playoffs.
No, I think the Bucks,
they're
the
officially-
Steelers, and the Rams still have a chance.
Yeah. I believe the Titans are officially out of contention, and they're going to start just like selling the farm here. So,
Yeah. Join the Eagles.
let's see what we got going on next week. We got a couple of big games coming up this weekend. Obviously, we're going to be a week closer to fighting, so I'll still be sober October styles. But a week after,
We get into one.
tune in, baby, tune in. Stay tuned for that, and we will see everybody next week. And thanks for Malcolm to come join us, and you're welcome back anytime, bro.